Hey everybody, this is Denny.
And this is James from TeaDB, bringing you guys episode 116. So we have a couple special guests today.
Please introduce yourselves.
Scott, Yunnan Sourcing, and Xiao, my wife.
And yeah, why don't you scoot a little bit over so that we make sure that you're in the shot. So, we are going to do a typical, last episode we had a fairly long interview style episode. We talked a lot about Yunnan Sourcing, Taiwan Sourcing, and we did drink some really great raw that I think we're all buzzing on a little bit right now.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and drink some really awesome oolong. So what do we have going on?
Yeah, we have a Lishan from Lishan in Taiwan.
Right.
One of the highest mountains in Taiwan and a famous area for producing tea. It's a jade Lishan and it's a Tieguanyin varietal.
Cool.
Most of the varietals that are grown in the high elevations in Taiwan are Qingxin oolong. Mm-hmm. But this one's special. It's Tieguanyin, which is originally a Fujianese varietal.
Right.
But yeah, it's really nice jade oolong. Let's break it out.
Let's dive on in.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've had anything from Taiwan Sourcing yet. Have you?
No, I haven't actually.
So.
I mean, it's so new that at this point, this will be our first taste. So
It seems like as good of a starting point as can be.
yeah,
So.
exactly.
Yeah, this is one of our kind of higher altitude, and kind of definitely on the higher end oolongs that we're selling on the site. But it's also really special because the Tieguanyin varietal, grown at that altitude, doesn't have a huge yield. So one of the reasons that Qingxin is grown is it tends to have a higher yield, especially at higher altitudes. Jinxuan is another one. Tieguanyin grown in Taiwan is a little bit more rare, and it has that unique Tieguanyin character. Definitely different from Anxi, because of the soil and because of the altitude and the processing as well. But it's unique and nice tea.
Yeah, amazing aroma. And for these jade oolongs, I typically am not going to be brewing them in a clay pot. What's the rationale there? And I mean, you had mentioned last episode that you use this for your oolongs, your green oolongs. So
yeah, actually, this is like a Purian pot that I got in Taiwan from Lin Ceramic Studio, and I like to use. Actually, I think Purian is a blend of clays from both inside and outside of Taiwan. But the Lin Ceramic is a Taiwanese maker. We don't actually offer their teapots, but it's a great teapot, and I think it's good. Breathes well, and keeping up a high temperature too is always kind of nice. I feel like these kind of oolongs, it's no problem to push them with high temperature. Here where we're drinking tea today, we're probably looking at about a 96.5 degree Celsius water temperature because we're at about 4,000 feet here.
Yeah.
So just getting as much heat into the tea as we can.
cool.
So teapots are good for that.
Yeah, right on.
And this is yours.
James.
That's yours. We'll leave it on the table.
Perfect.
Oh,
cheers.
cheers. Yeah. Careful, it's hot.
Yeah.
So this is just the wash. The tea's still opening up. Let's go start with the next infusion.
I normally feel like I get a little bit more vegetal notes when I do drink Taiwanese, and this has more. It's a little bit more floral. It's really sweet. It's actually already got a really great texture. So.
Yeah, and Taiwanese, big difference also between, say, for example, a Taiwanese oolong or a Taiwanese Tieguanyin versus an Anxi Tieguanyin. Not only is the processing style somewhat different, but the Taiwanese leave the stem after processing. Anxi Tieguanyin, they leave the stem through the processing and then they take it off after by hand usually. And so that stem gives it a little bit different profile, a little more sweetness. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. But the processing style is not as, it's definitely not as green. There's more oxidation, even though I would consider this very much to be a jade oolong.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think of this, James, so far?
Yeah, well, we just had the rinse so far, but the rinse gave plenty of flavor, especially considering. So I'm excited to try this next year.
Yeah, look at that color. Oh my goodness. And I noticed the high pour, a little bit of splash going around. That's why you guys have a tea table, of course.
Yeah.
And who cares? Everyone's drinking tea. It's just water, no big deal. But for folks out there who might be using a clay pot or something to add heat, a great way to counterbalance when you want to drink quickly is to pour high. So
Exactly, and that's what I'm doing both with this and with this. It's pretty hot today, pretty hot in the house here. Nothing worse than having a good tea session ruined by a burnt tongue, and then all the rest of the tea sessions for the rest of the day are just like, oh. I get upset about that. I'm like, oh, I burned my tongue. It's like,
it's like a painter
like
breaking
not-
a finger or something,
Yeah.
kind of.
Exactly, or like, not getting invited to somebody's birthday party at school.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So it opened up a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, this is a totally.
Really, really tasty.
I'm getting a nice little hint of like kind of more salt, a little bit more minerals, and just a much rounder, more long lasting flavor. Really sweet. This is great.
And I'm going with the high temperature here too. So some people prefer to brew it. Some people like 85 to 90 for jade oolong. So if they want more like the sweet profile, you could get that. Although this is very sweet. There's just
There's like a tiny hint of like the smallest hint really early on that kind of just dissipates immediately of a little bit of like tannin. I had
not much.
Not at all, because then it kind of just, I don't know, it like glides over it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And for these sort of more premium teas, you can tend to push them a little bit more. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, because everything that comes out is good.
Yeah.
It's all good, and then especially with the oolongs. I mean, they're so different from pu'er. It's really hard to get like a high level of astringency and bitterness out. It just isn't. It
Doesn't have that much. Yeah.
So.
And so, we always ask these typical questions of like, how long would this steep for? When would you drink it? Is it cooling? I'm kind of just still floating from the raw, so I can't really tell. But when would you guys be drinking something like this? Obviously, you guys are drinking so much tea; it's kind of hard to say. But what kind of a mood or season would this be?
I think it's good tea for the summer for sure. It's refreshing. It's kind of got like a sweetness to it. I find that the chi that it has, it's noticeable, but it's never overpowering.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice. If you've, maybe afternoon, if you did like a pre-lunch tea session and you kind of getting towards the end of the day, but you still, you just want to enjoy something more delicate.
Yeah.
And, this is a good choice. I think it's really suitable for any time, but, that's when I would drink it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Like these Taiwanese oolongs, especially as long as they're not processed too green, then I can pretty much drink them any point in the morning, in the afternoon, whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink this with food. I just think it wouldn't match or pair well with food for anyone who does like to do that. Personally, but I think this is really tasty. I'm getting more of the vegetal mouth reminiscing, or it's kind of hanging out, ruminating mouth feel and taste right now. So, kind of more classic Tieguanyin flavors for me, at least. So
yeah, but it's definitely far more Taiwanese tasting than like a Ongsi oolong, for instance.
Oh yeah. It's a whole different thing for sure.
That's crisp. It's delicious. So, folks who want to learn more about how they can get in touch with you guys, Taiwanese teas, maybe some teas from Yunnan, maybe a couple. If you guys have a couple of teas from Yunnan, how can they get in touch with you guys? How could they pick this up?
Yeah, well, check us out. Taiwan Sourcing at TaiwanOolongs.com. If you want to check out Yunnan Sourcing, YunnanSourcing.com. If you're in the USA, YunnanSourcing.us. Thanks.
And James, if folks want to learn a little bit more about tea, what should they do?
Yeah, they should come check us out at TeaDB.org. Hit that subscribe button below on our YouTube channel. And thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.